Ready to go somewhere warm for the winter? Let's talk about the new Illumination movie, Migration. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watch Your Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Migration, which comes to theaters on December 22nd, 2023. It's a new animated feature by Illumination, which is coming just in time for Christmas, and it is a great story for this cold, cold time. It is about a family of ducks that want to go south for the winter to get to warmer places. Maybe something you want to do while the weather turns cold and the days turn dark, but first thing, is this movie worth your time? Is this movie worth watching? I think it is. Hot take is I think you should watch it now. It's a fun, beautiful family adventure with a great cast and some good lessons. It is just a nice overall animated family movie. So if you've got kids, you want to get them out of the house, you want to get them to the theater for a little bit, this is a good option. Now, speaking of kids, for kids, is this okay for your kids? Yeah, I think it is. I think it's generally fine. It has some pretty good humor, some pretty good lessons. There's a little bit of scary aspects to it, especially with the main antagonist, but overall, I think it's fine. I took my kids to it. They all enjoyed it. So definitely something you can take the whole family to. So I'm gonna tell you a little about the film, a few things I like, a few things I didn't like, and then really, really quickly go into the ending. So as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the ending section. If you don't know what happened to this movie, I would turn off when you get there. Before that, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So Migration focuses on the Mallard family, which has Mack and Pam as the parents, and then Dax and Gwen as the kids. They are living in the New England pond. Mack is very happy here. He doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to go anywhere. But that all changes when one day a group of ducks fly in to kind of rest for a little bit as they make their way south to Jamaica for the winter. And this causes some friction in the family. The family wants to go. Mack wants to stay. He doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to upset the order. So when that family of ducks leaves, his family gets a little upset with him. And in order to kind of like show his family that he's cool and also make sure that they don't get too upset with him, he says, you know what, let's go. Not a great idea. They should have gone with the group of ducks that, knew where to go, but they decided to make it on their own. They decided to go and make their way south to Jamaica. And oh, by the way, their old kind of silly Uncle Dan, who's played by Danny DeVito, is coming as well. Are they going to make it south? Are they going to be able to kind of brave the weather, brave this new adventure? Well, you have to watch the movie to find out. So, things I liked about this movie. The first, I love the short. So at the start of the movie, before the actual Migration movie starts, there is a Minion short that was really fun. Like it's a standard kind of animated short. It's about 10 minutes long, but it shows a little bit what happens after the Minions movie and what happens to one of the main villains after this film. It is nice, it is clever, it is fun. It's kind of a nice like reminder of the Minions, especially because Illumination leans very heavily on the Minions. So this is a nice way to kind of like start this movie and start this new franchise. Second thing I love the animation. Overall, Migration is very beautiful. You've got some really bright colors. You've got some really, really nice environments, some nice nature scenes, and some really good animation on the ducks. Like they're ducks and you see their feathers are really well done. Like it's an Illumination movie. You expect the animation to be good, and it really is. And also it's kind of a nice, fun, colorful style for a kid's movie. The third thing I love the cast. It's a really great cast. You've got Kumail Nanjiani, you've got Elizabeth Banks, you've got Awkwafina, Keegan-Michael Key. You have a really, really good overall cast. Oh, and you have Danny DeVito as Uncle Dan. They all do a really good job, and they make these characters really, really fun. The fourth thing I love the music. It has some really beautiful music, especially during some of the big, like emotional early scenes. Like you get some really kind of epic music to go along with this pretty epic adventure. They're going from New England to Jamaica. That is not an easy trip for some ducks, and you get some really nice music to accompany you along the way. And the last thing I love the lessons. There are some really good lessons here for both adults and kids to learn, and it's kind of done in a fun way. So, all that being said, things I didn't love as much. The first, I didn't love the antagonist. The antagonist of this movie is a little bit over the top, a little bit too much, and I feel like he sticks around for a little bit too long. I feel like they could have had maybe a couple, but they really dug into one, and it just got a little silly after a while. And the second thing I didn't love as much, it concludes a little too quickly. This is also kind of related to the antagonist. The middle is pretty much all of them against the main villain. And so that means they have a pretty long middle as it goes over and over and over again. And then it concludes very, very quickly. So Migration is in theaters on December 22nd, 2023. Like I said, I think you should watch it. I think the kids will enjoy it. I think it's a fun movie. I think it'll be a good, holiday treat. Maybe get you feeling that warm weather if you're in a cold place like me. So check it out if you want to, and let me know what you think. I'm going to go into the ending right now. So if you don't want to know what happened to this movie, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So like I said, the Mallard family lives in New England, and they decide to go on this trip to go to Jamaica for the summer. Now, probably not a good idea. They've never been there. They don't know the way. But Mack is very, very adamant that he can do it. So they take off and get going. The first day doesn't really go that well. They get caught in a storm and have to kind of lay low in this spooky pond where this very odd heron decides to take them in. Now, Mac has been telling the kids stories that herons are predators, they're violent, you gotta stay away from them for their entire lives. He doesn't want the kids to leave the pond, he wants everyone to stay home. Well, now they get to see a heron, and it's a little unsettling. She's a little odd. She definitely kind of makes it seem like she is going to eat them. She makes them a bed in her house, and it's a pot, like literally a pot with a dead fish in it. They decide to sleep, and then at that night, when everyone's asleep, they're like, you know what? We gotta get out of here. We gotta go. They're gonna eat us. They decide to leave. The heron wakes up, and she's like, you really shouldn't have gotten out of there. And it looks like she is about to eat them. So Mac and Pam get away, but the kids are kind of trapped, and the heron's approaching them. She's telling them, like, you know, they shouldn't have left, that this is really bad. And that's when a fish comes and like gulps both the kids up. And the heron then instantly grabs the fish, causes it to spit the kids out. And she's like, look, like there's predators at night. You need to be careful. That's why you have to stay in the pot. So everyone stays in the pot, stays in the bed, and they have breakfast for the next day. And everything is fine. The heron was actually just a little quirky, but she was fine. And everyone learned a valuable lesson to not judge a book by its cover. All right, day two. They keep going. It is beautiful. They're flying through the clouds. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. And then all of a sudden, these large buildings are all around them. And it turns out that they are in New York. Now, in New York, it is very, very stressful because they've never been in a big city. They've only lived in this pond. But they make do, and they make friends with this pigeon named Chump, who's voiced by Awkwafina. They tell her that they need to get to Jamaica, and she knows exactly the person. She takes them to this restaurant where a parrot named Delroy is being held by this chef. And this chef is like very much a Salt Bay kind of chef. He's tatted up, he's got sunglasses, he's got gold all over him, he's a little over the top. And so Delroy is from Jamaica. He was captured and brought here to be the chef's pet, and unfortunately, he is locked in this cage, and the key is around the chef's neck. Now, some of the family wants to leave, but Mac is like, you know what? No, let's free him. Let's be brave. We can't leave him. And so Mac decides to go and get the key. It is a very difficult excursion. He makes a giant mess, but he and Pam, who joins him halfway through, end up getting the key, but they kind of destroy the restaurant in the process. They go up, they finally free Delroy, and they all get out of the restaurant just in time as the chef is like about to get them all. Delroy's free, he's happy, and he says, you know what, I'm gonna take you to Jamaica. They all start going. But they have to rest partway through, and they rest at this really beautiful place, this beautiful farm that has all these like yoga loving, I think they're like geese, maybe they're ducks, I'm not sure. They're all these like white birds that love yoga, and they're led by this guru named GooGoo. It seems like a paradise. The farmers treat them great. They give them all this great food. They have all this stuff to play with. And the family's like, you know what? Let's stick around here for a day. So they relax. Everything seems great. But then GooGoo announces that the farmers are going to take them on a trip. And that is when Dax sees that a large truck is pulling up with the chef driving. This appears to be one of the chef's like farms that he gets his food from to then go to his restaurant. So they're leading all the ducks into this truck, and Mac and Dax decide, you know what, we gotta stop them. They almost get caught. Dax actually gets hurt. His wings get hurt during this time, but they're able to get all the ducks out, and everyone flies away. That's encounter two with the chef. The chef is not very happy about this, but everyone seems to be fine. Dax can't fly, but he's flying on his dad's back. They go for a little bit longer, and they decide to rest at like a motel in the beach. So they're at the beach. They're making progress. I can't tell which beach they're at, but they are by some beach. They're at a beach motel. They're all relaxing from this long flight and this harrowing adventure. And that night, you see a helicopter coming, and wouldn't you know it, it's the chef again. He's on his like tiger chef helicopter, trying to find where everyone is. He locates all the birds, drops a net, catches them all, except for Dax and Gwen. Dax and Gwen are not captured. The chef pulls all the birds up, throws them in a cage, decides that Mac and Pam are going to be his special guests, puts them to the front, and he starts flying away. Now, unfortunately, Dax can't fly because his wings are hurt, and Gwen is a little bit too young. But thankfully, Mac and Pam are able to kind of like sneak their way over to the cage to try to free everyone. Now, unfortunately, the chef sees them as they're about to get to the cage and free everyone and tries to grab them. Now, they're fighting, and one of them hits the like chute at the bottom to open it up. The chute opens, Mack and Pam fall down there and they are free falling. Doesn't look good. They're in a cage. They can't fly. Thankfully, Dax and Pam come to the rescue. Dax had fixed his wings with some of the parrot feathers. So now he is flying. He looks beautiful. He's got like parrot feathers in his wings, and he is able to get there and open up the cage just in time so that everyone can be free and survive. Well, not good for everyone else though, because they're all stuck in the helicopter that is open and like falling down. But thankfully, the other birds are able to escape. I don't remember exactly how. I think they like started beating at the chef and caused him to hit the button, opening their cage, and they were all able to escape as well. So now everyone's out. That heroin adventure is done. The chef has, kind of lost a lot of nerve because he's been beaten 3 times by these same ducks. And this apparently is the end of it. He doesn't pursue them anymore. But like I said, this was the middle where it was like all the chef, all the time. So everyone gets out, everyone leaves, they start flying, and Delroy is taking them all to Jamaica. So this big group of ducks are all flying to Jamaica. They're flying through the ocean, and they touch down in the water, and it looks hopeless. Delroy is lost. There's fog everywhere they can't see. But thankfully, the sun comes up, and boom, wouldn't you know it, they made it to Jamaica. Jamaica's right in front of them. They all fly in. Everyone is happy. Delroy is excited to be back. The family meets up with that first duck family that's excited to see them. Dax reunites with one of the ducks that he had a crush on. They're able to spend the winter together, and everyone seems happy. Now, that would be a nice end of the movie, but they're about to leave to go back north now that the winter's over. But it turns out that there are some more birds that are lost. There are all these penguins here that have lost their way and don't know where to go. And Mack is like, you know what? Let's help them get back. Let's go to the South Pole. I don't think that's a good idea. They're penguins. They have to swim. They're not going to be able to fly. You can fly. It's going to be a really weird adventure, and you are not equipped to go to the South Pole. But Mack has the taste of adventure. He wants to kind of keep living this life. He wants to make his family happy. They're all kind of enjoying this travel. So they're all going to set out and go to Antarctica. So that is a migration. There is no stinger at the very end of the movie, but there are some fun, like, pictures of their trip to Antarctica. So you get to see a little bit more of the family as they're going on this last adventure. I would stay for those, but after those pictures, you can head out. So that is Migration. It comes to theaters on December 22nd, 2020. Like I said, I think you should watch it now. It was a fun animated family adventure. So if you check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. Let me know what I got right and wrong. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you liked this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.